We're not live yet. We're
No,
live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Wednesday evening hangout without Garrett. I'm Juliann, administrator of IDC Woodcraft, and then this is Liberty, our wonderful, fantastic shipping manager. Now, we have two very special ladies with us, and I know that you've been missing one very, very much. Well, we've got her back. So, Miss Kate and Ellen will be joining us shortly. Let me go ahead and lay down our ground rules. First of all, we like to keep it clean, polite, and nice. We do not put up with any, oh my goodness, there's sound. Sorry about that. We do not put up with any derogatory comments. There will be no name calling. There will be no just grade school picking at each other. It's not tolerated. I will boot you out. Now, if you all would like to pose questions to Miss Kate or Ellen or Liberty, I don't know if I'll be answering too many questions, but if you would go ahead and put multiple question marks or the word question in front of that question so I can start it, we will get to as many as we can tonight. That question cutoff does happen around 9 o'clock because 3 of us are in Eastern time and we don't want to run till after, 10. We'd like to go to bed. So I believe that's pretty much it. We keep it simple. We keep it easy. And Liberty, I think, let's say some highs to people.
Yeah.
I know there's a ton on tonight.
There's a ton on. I saw Eric Girth was one of the first ones to post. He asked if men are allowed. Yes, you're just not allowed in the frame.
All right, let's see. Terry Lee Bailey, Doug, another Terry, Jack in the Shop is on. Let's see, Jeff, Eric,
Garrett was
Brian.
just well tonight.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll hang in there. We'll do the best we can. Robert,
and Jeff,
Benny. All right. Stan, Joe.
There's a popped back on. Midnight Sun Woodworks.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm scrolling down as you're scrolling down here. Carrie, hello. There's Miss Kimberly.
I'm loving seeing a lot more ladies' names tonight still. Like we've slowly but surely been building up our lady viewers, but happy to see all of them on.
Miss Sarah, Vicky, Alice, welcome everybody. Tressa, I think it's Tressa, not Teresa. I don't know. Forgive me if I mess up anybody's name.
That's how I've been pronouncing it in my head when I email her. So I hope we're correct.
There we go. So welcome everybody. We're happy you're here and joining us. All right. So, hold on. I liked the cover photo. Looked like an intro to an action movie.
We got to bring the swag somehow.
Oh, yeah. Teresa.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that. All right, you guys. Well, we ran through that pretty quickly. Hi. Illinois. And we've got Chris on. Awesome. And if I've missed anybody, forgive me. But hello nonetheless. All right, you guys, let's get this party started. We are going to bring out Kate and Ellen, and they are going to catch you all up on what they've been doing recently. So here we go. Hello, ladies.
Hey.
Well, hello.
How is everybody tonight? Hello. Can I just say I am like so freaking stoked to be back, y'all, on my not consistent regular schedule yet, but I'm super pumped to be back for this very awesome show tonight with just ladies. You guys get to hear our perspective. Of course, we love Garrett. We always love his perspective and his technical expertise, but sometimes you get to hear a little bit of a detailed, maybe a touch of OCD in our CNC work. And so I want to give a great introduction to Ellen. I know many of you CNCers know her in the community as Madra, but Ellen has been working within the community with Mark Lindsay and several other very, very talented men in the private group that Mark Lindsay runs. And she is a plethora of knowledge. So don't hesitate to bring those CNC vector questions. Ellen is a fabulous designer. She's even done some work for me here and there when I get a little overwhelmed. So bring those questions, because we're going to do everything we can to make sure that you get an answer and you leave tonight with a really, what do I want to say, full minds and full hearts and ready to CNC. So, all right.
That.
Yes. Yeah. So Ellen, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself?
Well, tonight I'm sad because Mark, I don't think, is here tonight because he is taking his lovely wife, Linda, for a nice dinner and little travel. So I'm sad that he can't be here, but happy birthday, Miss Linda.
Yes, happy birthday.
Well, a lot of you know that I've been tinkering around with this software, Vectric, and playing with the CNC for a couple years, and well, almost 2 years now. I shouldn't say a couple years. It feels like it. I'm loving it. I can't seem to get enough of it, and I'm trying to talk slow because that's what Mark said to do.
I don't think I was good at that in the beginning. I was like, let's get this going.
Right?
Let's do it.
The fellas are like,
me,
got this. You've got this, Ellen. You've got this. And I'm like, they're like, breathe. Remember to talk calm. I'm like, all right, I got this. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, fellas. Yeah.
You got this, sister.
Right. So I'm like making jukebox parts, but then it's like I'm trying to do a few other things because I like making my own designs.
Yeah.
Making these parts that have to fit, that have to be precise, that somebody else already made is cool. But now I'm stepping into making my own projects, so that's pretty cool. And Kate told me not to eat the glue, so
absolutely.
I'm not going to eat the glue. And you actually told me how to finish stuff better, so I have best of both worlds here.
Ah, that's awesome. And for those of you who don't understand, don't eat the glue, what that particular saying means is basically when I had my paint party business, I would do a kind of like a brief introduction to all of the people in the room. And I would say, listen, this is going to be a step-by-step process. I'm going to give you an exact tutorial on how to get the perfect result and the perfect sign. But there's going to be one of you in the room tonight that ate the glue as a child in kindergarten. And tonight, that is going to come to life. We're going to figure out who ate the glue as a child, because you will rush ahead. You will not follow instructions. And then I will have to fix your project. So when you see me leaning over someone tonight, trying to help them fix their project, you will understand who ate the glue. So Ellen always says, Kate tells me not to eat the glue because she's always trying to rush through the project. I'm like, wait, stop, let it dry.
I know it was so painful to not touch my project after getting your advice today. It's so painful.
If you have ADHD, it's very hard not to touch it.
I know.
Don't touch it.
Why? Okay, listen, let's put this into perspective. That's why, like most CNC people and entrepreneurs, have at least 10 projects going in on the shop. So then that way I can like spray it and like leave it alone and then go deal with something else, because once I get involved in that, then I'm okay.
Right.
So,
Fair.
So I drank the Elmer snack. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Some of these comments.
Okay, so listen, here's how we're going to run the live a little bit tonight. You guys know Juliann normally handles the questions and everything we've got. So she's going to be starring some questions. If you have them, please make sure to put them in the comments, like she said, with the question marks or the word question in all caps. That definitely helps us star your questions and get those answered. Also, for those of you who are new and haven't seen me on the live in the last few months, just a quick update. My family is doing really well. Home life is much, much better. I did have some health things going on with myself. So I am physically doing much better, mentally, emotionally, physically. So I sincerely appreciate all the love that you guys have sent out to me via email, text messages, things like that. I am doing my best to manage all of the correspondence. I haven't been awesome at it because I've kind of been told that my stress levels had to come down like on the floor, like significantly, because I was having so many problems with my heart. So if I don't respond to you, it's nothing personal. I just know that I've probably seen your message, and I have certain times of day that I try to get back with people. So there's that. But I wanted to put that out there. And then for those of you who do not know me, my name is Kate Tucker. I created the group Women Who CNC. It's a fabulous group on Facebook, of collective of women from experts like Ellen, Juliann, Liberty are also in that group. And then we have seasoned woodworkers, not just CNC.
Oh no, Kate.
Did she
I
freeze?
lost her.
Oh no. That's
Oh no.
all right. Oh, there she be.
Well, I'll continue telling about her website. Oh, she's back.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. So point being, Women Who CNC is a fabulous group on Facebook. So come and join us. I would love to have you there. Okay. So come join us.
Right? We've reached 500 members.
Oh yes.
That's
Ooh.
right.
And I'm gonna throw that link in the chat.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I didn't say hi to my family. I put a link out there sharing with my friends and family, and some of them are here, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Welcome, Ellen's family.
Right?
All
said-
right.
Come to this, see how lunatic I am later, and then you can let me know.
Oh hush, you're fine. All right. Well, it looks like Miss Juliann has some questions starred for us. So should we go ahead and start tasking with some questions for tonight?
Right.
All right, let's do it. All right. So Miss Jen starts us off. Hi, Jen. What are the drinking rules for tonight without Garrett here to ask for links to be posted?
Oh, but we just did, right?
Be
so,
self-driven.
we kind of did. I feel like it's a self-driven, but I feel like we could come up with a couple of girls' night specifics.
That's true.
But we might need some help with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
You tell
eating
us
a
when
piece
to
of
drink.
chocolate, like an M&M or something, would be very significant.
Yeah.
Girls' night. Yeah. I don't have any chocolate in my shop though,
I
because my
can't
daughter
have
usually comes out
chocolate.
here and hijacks it.
I'm allergic to it, so.
Oh,
Oh no.
okay.
No cocoa.
Chocolate's out.
Well, all
Well,
right. Well,
like,
how about
maybe
just for
something specific that happens, like instead, well, not instead of, but like as well as the links, like if we do a certain thing, or like if somebody asks something specific.
Oh gosh, Kimberly, that may be a little much.
Any suggestions?
She said tequila shots.
I'm drinking
Oh.
cherry
Every time
juice.
Garrett's name or IDC is mentioned, drink.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Is that a challenge?
That's fair. That's fair.
a good one.
I like that.
I like that.
I like that as our added rule for tonight, since Garrett's not like, Juliann, write down this. Juliann, add this to my calendar.
Well, I don't know. I could. If you guys need anything written down, I'm right here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, listen. Without naming names, I have to tell you guys, I love the fact that whenever someone says, Juliann, do this, do you guys remember as a lady of the night here? Or maybe that doesn't sound right.
Right. Well, not ladies' night.
Okay, scratch that. Rewind. Do you remember, you know the movie Cinderella? So every time her stepmom would call and she would go, Cinderella, Cinderella, night and day, Cinderella. That reminds me of when he does that. He's like, Bubba. He's like, Juliann.
Yeah. But the difference is I actually get paid. Cinderella did not.
Yes.
Ooh.
Not that you were
There
by
we
any
go.
means like Cinderella. It just like the way he says your name, it just like triggers my brain to be like Cinderella, Cinderella.
That does make me a Disney princess.
Yes.
Ooh.
And you're looking very fabulous tonight, I must say.
Thank you. Thank you. So are the rest of you.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay, let's tackle some questions here. Let's see. So our first one comes from John. Question, Kate, what is the best way you have found to color epoxy resin?
Ooh, good question.
So it's a great question, John. So I like to do a couple, actually I have about 3 different techniques. And then you can kind of bend the rules with epoxy however you want. So I really like to use the pigments. I like the eye candy pigments are probably some of my personal favorites. Let's see. I really also like to use the alcohol inks when I'm really trying to get more of a translucent color. So let's say I'm trying to, because there's a lot of things that people don't like when in the custom sign world, people may not necessarily always want that glitter or that sheen that the eye candy pigments bring to epoxy. Like you see in the river tables, that really beautiful gloss and sheen. Not everybody always loves that. So what I like to do is I will use a translucent, or not necessarily translucent, but alcohol ink. And then I will even use some like acrylic paint of the specific color that I'm trying to add to it, and then mix that together. And then I can almost get that exact color that I really, really like. As far as just tinting and coloring, I mean, you can use all kinds of different alcohol inks. I mean, they have copper, they have like a really sparkly silver, they have tons and tons of different kits out there that I have found to be phenomenal. So if you're interested in knowing more about my painting technique, I definitely will. I'll try to make a video about that, because I know I've had a lot of questions regarding when I do like crimson and cream for like an IU flag or a Purdue flag, and getting those very specific colors. I will mix my epoxy and just strictly paint, and then get that ratio, and then it comes out flawless every time. So I can definitely make a note of that and maybe make a video. So yeah, but let me know if you guys do have more epoxy questions. I'd definitely be happy to help you with that.
So, Kate, I have an epoxy coloring question along those lines. Can you, or have you mixed like the powder and the ink methods or colors and stuff?
Yeah, like I said, you can kind of do everything in between with the alcohol inks, because the alcohol ink will give you more of like a solid color or a translucent color, depending on what you want. So it's kind of like that.
Just add like a little bit of sparkle to that more translucent like feel.
So I'm trying to think. So if you want more of a translucent with sparkle, you can actually use glitter. And believe it or not, gentlemen, there are different, and ladies, sorry, I didn't mean to single anyone out there. There are different variations of sparkle. So it can be like very, very fine, or it can be a very chunky. So if you're looking for that clear, really clear, but you want just like a fine dusting, maybe like on your top coat, that's just going to give it like a little bit of a glistening, you can add just like a pinch of that and then mix it in and then look at it. What I like to do is I will take like my my mixing stick, and then I'll just kind of grab it up on there and then watch it run down the popsicle stick, and then I can kind of gauge what that's actually going to look like on the project. And then I'm like, well, it really doesn't look like anything. I know that I need to add more. It's kind of like my dad used to tell me in the wintertime. He said, Katie, if you go out the door with just shorts and a t-shirt on, you're going to freeze your butt off. But if you go with, you know, leggings and jeans and a coat and a hat and gloves, you can always take it off, but you can't, or you can always add more, but you can't take it off. So
yeah,
you know, that's kind of what I would say as far as adding different sparkles, colors, glitter. It's really everything in moderation and just add as you see fit. I mean, I would definitely not recommend like taking the entire bottle and dumping it into there because, you know, that's no good.
Yeah.
That's not going to give you what you want. Now,
That's
I
going to
will
end up
say this,
badly.
without going too far off into the deep end of this. If you're doing like an epoxy table, okay, or you want to do like a small, let's say like 18 to 24 inch round, and you want it to be translucent, I would like mix like 1 or 2 drops in, and you need to have a certain type of pigment for this. Mix it in really good with like your deep pour epoxy, check it, and then maybe add a little bit more or a little bit less. I mean, if you're working with 2 or 3 gallons, 1 drop may not cut the butter. It may not give you that true, really pretty blue, true translucent look that you want.
Right. But you want to test out on, you know, a cup first to kind of maybe get some sort of idea of ratio before you screw up 3 gallons.
Well, that's the really hard part with epoxy. I had to kind of learn the hard way, unfortunately, because you can do a test. So let's say you have an 8-ounce cup and you have 5 different ones and you add 1 drop here, 2 drops here, 2 drops there. That color ratio is not going to be the same as when you're mixing 3 gallons for like a big table or something. So it really is kind of a catch-22. But here's what I found as a helpful tip. If you use a white bucket, so, you know, like the 5-gallon buckets you can buy at Lowe's or wherever, or a red one, try to find white, because white is going to be that you're really going to get to see your reflective color, versus if you're using a blue Lowe's bucket and you're trying to make a translucent blue, it's going to be kind of hard to tell what you're working with. You know, it's kind of like, okay, 2 or 3 drops, looks good. We'll just give it a whirl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Juliann, you want to pop up our next question?
Sure. Next one is a 2-parter. Let's see. We've got a page 1 and a page 2 from Gary Lynn. All right.
Goodness.
Let's see. Last week we talked about having a subscription for membership. Kyle Ely has one for Learn Your CNC. If we are on a fixed income, it becomes difficult to subscribe that way. Let's see. There it is. Page 2. If you buy bits from IDC, it would automatically subscribe you to the membership. Trolls usually will not pay to troll. Just saying. Okay.
Oh, for like the live streams and so on?
Well, for the what he's talking about is Garrett wants to make a list where it's like kind of a subscription. So they pay $5 a month, and that way they get access to either people that are looking for help or people that can help, and then they get in touch with each other. So, all right. I will. Yeah, I'm writing that one down. But yeah,
Gary.
Oh yeah, especially fixed income, like that comes up quite a little bit. But yeah, we're just going for $5 a month. we're not going to make it anything like hundreds of thousands. So there's that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So okay, but yes, I will make a note of that. And is that a drink moment? Yep. Self-driven. Yes. All righty. Okay, and then our next one, question-wise, is from Coop K. Since women tend to be the trendier leaders, what products are trending in your area?
All right.
All right.
Well, who wants to start with this one?
Well, in mine, pumpkins are actually hitting right now.
Okay. You want to tell them where you're from?
Kaukauna, Wisconsin, and I'm selling them like mad.
That's awesome.
Right? I have people driving from quite a distance to come and get my pumpkins, and I'm like, sweet.
So have you done any other? Because obviously, if you're in the CNC community or you're very active on Facebook or Instagram or things like that, you're going to see the wooden lanterns. If you're not familiar with what Ellen's talking about,
Right.
they basically have the face that has some type of spooky design in it. And then it's, just a little wooden box that has a platform and you can put a candle in it or some type of LED thing or whatever you want. I know those are kind of, I like to call those the tried and true. Everybody in the community kind of gets annoyed with them. And they always there's that one person or handful of people that put a really cool twist on it and they do something really unique. The problem with doing really unique and custom is that takes time, as we all know. And these pumpkins that Ellen is creating, I mean, you literally can batch out an enormous amount of these things. I've seen people sell them with just pine wood. You can batch them out. You can paint them. You could even sell them.
Let me make Ellen bigger here.
Bring
so
that
we
in,
can
sister.
see.
Right.
Oh, that is so pretty.
And I have a little mix up because, sometimes it happens, but stuff like that.
Yeah, you can even see them in the back of your shop there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Batching them out like crazy.
Yeah.
Their little faces.
Yeah. But I mean, that's something. So, Coop,
I would say now is prime time for the holiday stuff, the seasonal stuff, no matter where you are.
Yeah. I mean,
You're
people
a
are always
crafter
looking
right
for
now.
gifts.
Oh, sorry. But
no.
Right. Halloween is pretty much kind of, for me, I'm already kind of a tinker up with the candles, Christmas candles. This is an
love
easy
those
project. You can, if they're easy. They're easy.
I would say anything candle is good for all year. I mean, I burn candles all the time. So
yeah,
it's called an evergreen, where it's like an all year thing. Why not? Candles.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's always buying candles.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Christmas time, people buy candles.
Yep.
Absolutely. I really like the really trendy right now in my area for a lot of the moms that I'm kind of getting hit up for is double-sided signs. You've got, Halloween and Christmas, or if you're not a big Halloween, you can do fall and Christmas. Or if you're not real big into fall, you can do Thanksgiving and Christmas. Everybody's kind of Christmas. Or, if you
winter.
are in, if you're in a different type of religion, you could do maybe a Jewish holiday on the back. You can really look at your surroundings, look at your environment, figure out what is going to sell the most. I would say my tried and true is personalization is everything. Like Ellen was saying with those candle votives, you can put the little glass candle holders in them. I'm telling you what, right now, those things, centerpieces for Thanksgiving dinner, fall dinners, fall decor, anything right now is on fire. Okay.
On fire.
Anything fall, especially the big table, to put all the candles in, and you see all these
pieces and such.
Yeah. Moms are taking pool noodles and they're cutting them and then they're zip tying them and they're sticking flowers from the Dollar Tree in it. Listen, the economy is bananas right now. Everything is so expensive, and we as women will find a way to still do all the things, even if it's on a budget. So as makers, that can translate into find a great way to make a really cool product at a very reasonable price. So let's just think business savvy. So Ellen, what type of wood did you use to make that candle votive?
Birch and walnut.
Okay. So a little bit more on the pricier scale.
A little bit more on the pricier scale, but you put a little wood wax, a little rub butter on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a question, Ellen. What did you use to cover the moon with on that lantern?
Some kind of glittery thing. It's not epoxy. It's some kind of glittery paint. I'm really into the metallic.
Mm-hmm.
I have it in my drawer, so hang on a minute.
Yeah. Well, she's looking for that. I will add to, first of all, I want to compliment her on her finishing skills because they look amazing. Secondly, paint pens. paint pens are a fantastic way. If you're not an artist, this is something I told Ellen about a long time ago. If you can operate a pencil and a marker, paint pens can be your best friend. They come in fine tip. They come in thick. They're fantastic. See? Look at there. Here, let's see them. Put them back up here.
Follow a line, you can do a paint pen.
These just fell out because I grabbed it upside down, but this is a Posca.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they work really well. And I haven't tried these yet, but these are really fine tip on one side and thicker on the other. And it's acrylic. So you can still lacquer it and do whatever. But this is Rust-Oleum intense glitter paint.
Ooh.
Red.
Okay. Love that.
All right.
And it looks purplish when you put it on there and it dries red. It's going to be great.
All right.
Okay.
So in addition to this question, how far ahead do you all have to start producing for the holidays, or do you do it by order?
Well, Ellen, why don't you take this one since you're doing the pumpkins?
Right. I'm already working on Christmas. Fall is kind of all in between theirs. Like I have this really cool pumpkin that I carved, and that's cool. And I'll make little pumpkin trays because that's a fall decor. You can dress that up, and little gifts for people like, oh, I'm coming over to your house for Thanksgiving dinner. Here's this, or cool, whatever. Gotcha. But I'm already working on Christmas. I'm trying my hand at 3D designing this tree that I'm making, and the fellas and Kimberly, they're going to help me kind of work through it. They said if I have questions, ask, and boy, do I ask.
Good. That's how you learn.
Right. And then I'm in this other woodworking group, Bearded Vikings. And these guys are pretty great because these guys are the ones that helped me out with the candle holder too. And it's like, yes, thank you guys. I love YouTube.
That's awesome. See, I think that's a true testimony to, Mark himself, but just Mark and the group of people that he works with and he teaches. They are such genuine, down to earth. If I had a nickel for every time Ellen talked to me about the guys in her group, I would have a whole lot of nickels. I would need like one of those like big pickle jars you buy from Sam's, and then it would probably still be like overflowing. Holy smokes. Like just craziness. So, all right. So is there anyone else? Liberty, did you want to make any suggestions for holiday stuff?
No, I would just say start on the holidays, that works in any area. And, if you're in an area that leans towards, farmhouse chic, make them more farmhouse chic-y. If you're in an area that's more modern chic, lean more towards that. But holidays, pumpkins, leaves, Christmas trees,
Yeah, and absolutely. And don't be afraid to be a little bit creative with your design. And fellas, I will say this. Don't be afraid to get on Pinterest. It's not just for women. There are tons and tons. If you just type in like CNC fall projects, like it will just come up with like a plethora of like everything like Ellen showed, from a simple candle votives thing with your table. Like I mentioned, personalize it. You could batch those out in whatever type of wood that you see fit. Sometimes chunky things right now are really in, and I don't mean like go get a 6x6 and cut it in half and like put some candles in it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like a chunkier piece of I'm trying to think of the wood that it is, but I can't come up with it. It reminds me of a railroad tie. It's kind of rustic looking. It's got like some different, might have a little bit of spalting in it, and you can kind of rough the edges or like smooth certain parts out. That type of stuff right now, the very natural is in.
Live edge.
Live edge is huge. Whitewash is making a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
you know, all those types of things. If you're not a sign maker, find different projects like what Ellen did. You can batch those out, offer personalization for an extra $10, throw it on the CNC, put their family name on it, roll out. Ooh, another big one is turntables. Boy, them suckers are coming back like you would not believe. And they say like the bigger, the better, because everybody has like these open concepts houses. They have these enormous tables. And I've seen those it's literally a dang round circle with a piece underneath it. And it might have some design in the top. And it's
a full-on breakfast table in the middle of their dining table.
Yeah, and they're like, spin that son of a gun around. And I'm like, it's just got their family name on it. And they're like $236. I'll sell 300 of those this weekend. I'm like, yes, please. What if I'm in the wrong business? Like, you know what I mean? You know, holy smokes. So really, I mean, pick up a magazine. Go through Walmart. You don't have to purchase the dang thing. Just go to Walmart, look in like Joanna Gaines and Chip Gaines from, what is it called? I can't remember the name of their business.
Magnolia
something. Homes, or what's their show that they do though? My brain's like being dumb right now. Anyway, go look up Joanna Gaines. Go get on her website. Go Google it. Look up anything Joanna Gaines fall 24 style. You'll figure it out. You take that and run with it.
She's following the trend.
I always say, you got to do your homework, people. You can't just expect this kind of stuff to land in your lap. You got to get creative. You got to stay ahead of the market. You got to really figure out what's out there. So,
right. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it won't sell.
Yep.
Very true. Very true. All right, guys, let's get some more of these questions. It's about 8:30. We've got 22 in the queue here. Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
So, Vortex, does anyone have experience with metalwork and finding places that do it? I have a project coming up that needs some.
Your nearest machine shop.
Yeah, I think Garrett needed a piece for something made, and he went to a local machine shop.
Right, fabrication machine shop. They'll have Mastercam or Haas machines.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Simple Google search there. Okay. Yeah. John Whitney, has anyone tried doing portrait carving?
You know, John, this is a very timely question because I actually had very randomly, I had someone send me a picture of their collie, their dog, and asked me if I could do a portrait. And I thought, that's interesting. I'm going to have to try that out. I have seen several people do them. And I can't remember which groups it was, because, you know, when you're a CNCer, you've got 27 different groups you're part of. You just kind of lose track of where you saw what. So if I start working on that, John, if you want to send me an email over at womenwhocnc@gmail.com, so I have your info. When I do that, I will touch base with you and show you what I learn, if that helps. If not, guys, we're throwing this one out to the community. If anybody else has done portrait carving, help John out, reach out to him and, you know, give him a holler. Let him know what's the do's and don'ts of that. Because I'll be reading the comments afterwards, trying to see if you guys helped him out.
Right? Is he talking photo? Is he talking photo carve? Like Patrick has the photo carve with the B-bits and the different angles and rasters?
Possibly.
That's what I'm thinking. I personally haven't gotten to use that feature, but I was going to explore that a little bit more. So I literally, since I've been like taking a break from everything, I feel like in my life, I'm out here in the shop and my brain is now like it's just slowly like winding up, like, oh, I need to do that, and I need to do that, and I need to do that. And I'm just so excited because, you know, it's exciting doing this stuff. I love it.
Right. Sure. Photo carve is usually done with a V-bit, though.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, that would make the most sense just because you're doing extremely detailed work. Here's a question for the community. In the photo carve, I personally would not choose pine. I would choose maybe a medium density wood because, pine is very soft. So you're going to have a lot of tear out. You're going to have a lot of kind of like shredding going on. I don't know that I would want that. So I would probably, I don't know, maybe walnut. I feel like walnut could give you a really beautiful photo carve. But then the question comes, how are people finishing it? Are they using epoxy? Are they using, what are we doing to finish that, to really make that photo come to life? Are you just, painting it and then sanding off the extra like everybody else has done in the past? So I'd be interested to see what your comments are on how you guys are finishing those projects to really make those photos come to life.
And I personally wouldn't use walnut for a photo carve because I'm thinking it's going to be too dark. How are you supposed to lighten it? So I would think if I was to do this, I would try to be doing it on a really nice piece of maple or a really nice piece of birch.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking like if you did it in walnut, maybe do like a white paint to make the photo really pop. Because in my brain, I'm just thinking like a collie, and collies have that big white, like, fluff. And then they have the light browns and stuff like that would really make it pop. So I don't know. I like the idea of the maple too, or I have this really big piece of English walnut that I think would be beautiful.
I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat saying hard maple, and then 30 degree V-bits, sand it and use oil stain.
Yeah.
Walnut or maple.
Okay.
Yeah. So maple's pretty much a go-to, best all around, says Norman. And then let's see. Robert suggests use a light colored wood, carve at an angle, spray paint black, lightly sand to bring it to life. It's amazing.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. Basswood, and got some good results. Rubbing with a medium dark wax and then clear it.
Okay. So for Robert, can we circle back to Robert's comment real quick?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, I said, so use a light colored wood, carve at an angle. Okay, so I'm assuming like what type of an angle are you using? Because here's my fear is when you're using such a 30-degree angle, your bit is going to be so fine anyway. And then what type of an angle are you talking about? Because I'd be afraid I might break the bit.
For me, I feel like it would depend upon the level of detail that I'm going for or the level of detail that is in it. If I was doing like a pet where there's lots of fur, I would hit up the 30 degree because I can get more smaller but still deep cuts. But then if it was something with like less line detail, I might go for something like the 60 or the 90 to get a bolder cut.
He's saying 45 is fine.
And see, and I liked using the 60V because then it wasn't too deep, because 30 kind of like, it was really deep in there. 60V, and I think I tried between 45 to 90 degree angles, and you can raster them too if you're wanting a little more detail.
Well, that's what I was curious about. Not so much the angle of the bit, but like when you're actually doing the CNC, you can actually determine what, if you want an angle to carve, like however you want the bit to carve at that 45 degree angle. So yeah, he's saying a 30 degree bit, but raster at an angle. So you're taking the angle of the bit at a 30 degree angle. It's kind of like weird to kind of understand. It took me a minute to grasp this concept, but okay. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
So, let's see. All right. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you guys and your comments on that. And hopefully that helped out John as well.
Yes. Okay.
All right, let's see.
Got
What do we have
Craft.
next?
So has Ellen shown off her new bestsellers yet tonight?
Yeah.
She's keeping them. She is keeping them secret from even us. She would not tell us what she's currently working on because she's not revealing it.
All
Right.
right. I
Well, the
see you.
candles and
Yes.
the pumpkins right now are pretty cool. Those are
All
pretty
right.
good sellers. Right.
Okay, so let me ask you a next honest question, because this is very highly debatable and everyone will tell you it's all based on the market that you're in. So in Wisconsin, where you are, what are you selling your pumpkins for?
Too cheap. I want to get rid of them. $20.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
20
too
bucks. Do you
Plus
have
$5 for the light.
last year I could barely give them away. I was like, literally, here, you're having a fundraiser. Great. Here, have a pumpkin. Here, have a pumpkin. Oh, it's your birthday in October. That's what you're getting. This year I just said, hey, I have pumpkins. And it was just like, yes, yes, yes. I had to make more. I'm in the process of making more right now. It's just like, okay, pumpkin season can be over with.
You know what?
But
I just
it's a
had like a
good
really
profit.
cute, I really had like a really cute idea. And I know, like, back to my personalization thing, because y'all know me, I'm the custom person. So how fun would it be to do if you did like a pumpkin, or like for a family or something, or you did like the photo carve and you did like a photo of like the dog, and then you did like the kid and the mom and the dad or whatever. Because like, you know, you always see those like stick families on the back of like, you know, on the back of SUVs. What if you did like a little like fun something for each one? You know, if you just had kind of like an array of, I don't know, like maybe like 5 things you could pick from for the daughter, or 5 things you could pick from for the son, or like the dog. Like, just, I'm not talking like, you know, trying to carve a picture of like a collie. I'm like using the KISS method, like keep it simple, stupid. Don't like be going crazy here. So, you know, if it's like a, I don't know. I'm just like, look up cute, simple, like line drawings for girls. Like,
Yeah.
what would a girl look like? What would a boy look like? Like simple line drawings of a dog. Like maybe one with spots, one with not spots. Like
Long
keep it
ear,
simple.
short ear.
Yes. You know, just something like that. Like that could be really trendy and cute, because people love that personal stuff, because that stuff is something like if they add to the, you know, if they have a baby the next year, then maybe they're going to want like a baby pumpkin. So that's just reoccurring revenue for you to come back to each and every year. Because if you're their person, then they're going to go, oh my God, like I saw at your house when I was trick-or-treating my kids, all of your cute little personalized lanterns. Where did you get those? Oh, my girl Ellen does those.
Mhm.
Right? Could you?
know?
Oh, that, you know, that's a really, you have a 2D pumpkin, right?
Mhm.
Photo carve their little pumpkin face on their pumpkin.
See,
Okay.
I was thinking doing personal pumpkin faces on the little bodies instead of like round faces or whatever. Like, do little pumpkin faces and you can have like 3 different eyeball options and 3 different little mouth options or whatever. That would be
See?
Uh-oh.
Lots of ideas. Lots of
There it
ideas.
is.
Oops.
All right. Let's
All
move
right.
to Richard Brooks. Kate, I may be the one who still eats the glue. When doing a multicolor epoxy sports logo, I had color bleed from one color to another pour and cured overnight, and the second pour the next afternoon. Let's see. I don't think there was I didn't see anything else with that one.
Okay.
Let me go back real
Was
quick.
he just making a statement because he ate the
Perhaps.
glue?
Multicolored.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Was the first pour not cured if it bled into the second color?
Okay, go back to the first question.
Going back.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
When doing a multi-color sports logo, I had color bleed from one color to another. Yes, more than likely if you're using, okay, so this is a really great opportunity to bring up different types of resin. So if you're using like a tabletop epoxy, for instance, which a lot of people, when they do inlays, they do a tabletop epoxy. you might want to switch to an art resin. Super Clear has a really great art resin that dries within about an hour. The girls were actually telling me that they had some sent to the shop by Super Clear, so that's fantastic. I'm very excited to see what Miss Liberty comes up with that. But that art resin dries in an hour. It dries to like a really good solid tack. So if you want to do your next layer after that, then that would be the appropriate time to do that. But if you have any type of, because like a tabletop has a lower viscosity, and so it's going to take a lot longer to set up, and you're going to have a much higher risk of bleeding. And so using that art resin can really make like an epoxy inlay that you're trying to do can definitely make that go a whole lot faster. So it's kind of like, think of it like using, an oil-based stain versus a gel stain. When you hit it with that oil-based stain, it goes on beautifully, but it's going to take a whole lot longer to dry to really penetrate the wood. If you're using a gel stain, you're basically just hitting the top of it. It's going to dry almost instantly, but it still takes, about 30 minutes to an hour to really soak in before you can start doing a lot of things with it. So I would maybe try some art resin to help you out with that and make sure that you have a good tack and that it's dry. Also, if you're carving, when you're doing these multi-layer things, just for the people who are, if they're looking at experimenting with this type of thing, you really need to make sure that your epoxy is 100% dry and cured before you hit it with a CNC bit, or it can create a lot of issues, not only for your project, but also your CNC router bits as well, which, that's not so fun to screw up a bit or your project, because then you're really in trouble, because now you're 2 for 1 instead of 1 for 2.
Unless, of course, you got the bit from a company that has a 90-day guarantee.
Oh, what company is that?
Oh, I don't know. Possibly.
Well, I'm thirsty. What does Garrett have this week?
There you go.
Oh, gosh.
Beautiful.
Oh, my gosh. And just so everybody knows, we're still running that Muscle Chuck 30% closeout. So if you haven't got one yet, they're flying off the shelves.
Ooh, I need to write that down. I actually probably need to get one myself, because I find myself so annoyed anymore at the thought of having to change a bit. I'm like, how can I manipulate the system to make it work to my advantage so I don't have to change the bit?
And for those of you that don't know, Muscle Chuck is a quick change tool that hooks in to your router, spindle, router.
All the things.
All the things.
All
and
the
use a
things you
wrench
need
and
to do to put the bit in.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. The link is, in the comments.
Yes.
That's our little sponsored break there. Why, thank
Garrett
you,
will be
Robert.
proud. I heard the Garrett.
I know. I've actually, he popped in a little bit ago. Where was it? Let's see.
Yep. I started.
There we go. Popping in for just a second to say hello to the girls. Hi, boss.
Hello. I love that.
All right. And since we're kind of in between, we've got a $9.99 donation from Bakerville Boys. So thank you very much for that. We definitely appreciate it.
Awesome.
Very much.
Awesome.
All righty.
I'm reading in the chats, and my niece said she'll buy that. So I'm thinking I made a sale with my niece tonight, right, Alicia?
Beautiful.
There we go.
Sold.
Perfect.
Okay.
Sold.
Loving it. I'm loving it. I'm doing my little promos. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. There we go.
I love it. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's one off the list. I've got a whole page here of things that I could possibly go through to tell you guys about that we have. So,
Oh my gosh.
I may have to save some for next week.
Well, listen, I think I'm going to have to create an easy to do checklist for the website for you guys, because I think that would be super helpful for new people. I feel like so many more people are branching out into epoxy, and there's so many questions.
It's
I need
so
a printable.
fun.
I need a printable tool
printable.
database like thing.
Yes.
I need to have that tool database where you can go to check his website. I need that
Yeah.
printable.
I think we do have a printable
Is it
version.
printable?
I believe so.
I know the
Hold on.
checklist is.
Let me look. Let me look. I know it's
Right?
here somewhere. There's the download.
Also, just a
I will
few
have
more
to look
minutes
for that.
questions. So pop in some more questions
Yeah.
as you've got them, because if we have time towards the end of the questions, we'll try and get them, but we can't always.
Oh, we're gonna smash these. We're gonna get all these done.
All right.
I have faith. We're gonna go to it.
All right. Hey, Carolyn, how are you, lovely friend?
Oh,
All right. She says, I'm having the worst time with the bubbles in my epoxy. I tried a heat gun. No luck. Any other suggestions? Absolutely. Make sure you are stirring to the appropriate amount of time per the product that you are using. Also, fast curing epoxy is not always your friend. Okay. I know everybody loves to just mix it and get it done. That's not what you want when you're trying to do these type of projects, unless you truly need something to be like quick and done, like, you know, for something, maybe you don't want a bunch of like runs on the project or something like that, or you're trying to bond a couple things. I would really always work with either an art resin or a tabletop resin. I personally really like the super clear epoxy. It has been my go-to for a couple of years now. I absolutely love it. You mix it for 3 to 5 minutes. Here's the big thing. Everybody loves all these mixers and all kinds of like insane high-speed things to try and get your epoxy mixed quickly. Please don't. Just please don't. I actually just bought a mixer on Amazon. Juliann will have a link for you. It is literally, I have probably 10 of these things because when I was starting out, I thought it was going to be the end all be all and it was going to save my arm. Now listen.
I don't have the link for the mixer. It is empty.
Oh no, it's the very first one in our.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. And so I have found this one. I love it. It's absolutely fabulous. You just want to make sure and clean it off with your gun, hit it with a little bit of like, you know, alcohol. But here's the big thing with art resin and tabletop epoxy. Please let the resin rest for 5 minutes. That will literally save you a ton of time. Okay. Let it rest for 5 minutes. And then you can take your heat gun in your plastic mixing cup, take the heat gun and just kind of, you know, vanquish the bubbles that are sitting on top. And then you can pour it. You will have far less bubbles. Okay. Trust me, that 5 minutes of that waiting time is literally the longest 5 minutes of your life, but it's worth it every time. I can see Liberty's face. I can see the pain in her eyeballs. She's saying, no, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
You can. You can. Okay.
We will separate you in a different room from your curing epoxy with bubbles.
I know it's hard, but listen, with art resin, if you only have maybe 30 minutes working time and you only needed to mix it for a couple of minutes, maybe let it set for like 3. Let it set for 3. Set a timer on your watch or on your phone or whatever you got to do. But that resting of that epoxy allows the bubbles to raise to the top, and then things go a lot smoother from there. A heat gun. Here's the other problem with that. I learned this a very hard lesson very early on because I was a dum-dum and didn't think about the two being put together. What you can do is also use, I think it's like above 90 proof, like isopropyl alcohol. Okay. You can put that in a spray bottle, like go to the Dollar Tree, get yourself a little spray bottle, spray that over the top of the project. Don't go nuts with it. Just like a little spritz. That will help eliminate a lot of the bubbles on the project. So then that way you're not constantly taking that heat gun, because what can happen with a heat gun is you can create flash curing, especially if the bubbles are deep down in the epoxy. Those need a little bit of time to rise. So if you're trying to seal something, again, be patient, let them come to the top, and then you can just spritz it with that isopropyl alcohol, and that will get rid of a lot of your bubbles. So the other thing, I thought I would be cool and, you know, get out the torch. If you sprayed it with alcohol, do not use the torch.
Will bad things happen?
I'd like to admit, but here we are. Okay.
Can I see what happens?
Huh?
Like,
no.
Is
Can I see
there a
what
video? I
I think I still have the project. Hold, please. One moment.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm enjoying this talk of flammable objects.
I want to learn by experience.
Now, one comment I want to kind of point out is John Harrell's. He says he mixes his epoxy resins in glass beakers, always stirs one direction. Then he puts a lid that he designed that has a vacuum fitting on it, and then a pull vacuum on the beaker for 5 to 10 minutes and no bubbles. That's got to be fun. Like that would
Not
just be
ready for that.
All right. Bad news. I threw the project out probably when I was cleaning my shop. Okay.
Darn.
This is the mixer that I was telling you about. It's really, really nice. And it actually goes 2 directions, just, you know, forwards and backwards. But this is about the speed you want to work with. It's really great. I love this thing. And it comes with 2 additional attachments. You can see this one has the gloss from the epoxy that I've used. Spray it with alcohol. Let the epoxy run off of it. You're good to go.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right, Kate, if you use the color shifts, can you review how they work? I'm not sure. I don't. Color shifts, maybe like a color transition if you're going from one color like to the next. That's what I'm thinking she's referring to. If that's what you're referring to, here's what I do. It's a very elaborate thing. You're going to have to pay attention. You're going to pour one color, and then you're going to put a popsicle stick or a little piece of wood or something in between them, very, very thin. And then you're going to pour the other color. And when it starts to gel just a little bit, you pull that popsicle stick out, and then you can kind of drag it back and forth just a little bit. And then it creates this really beautiful. So let's say you're going from like a dark blue hue to, let's say you're going from navy blue to dark blue, things like that. Color shift pigments from Eye Candy. I really haven't used those too much, to be honest. I'm breaking into the Eye Candy world. I have about 10 of their pigments, but I haven't looked or worked with those directly. Color shift. I'll tell you what, Kimberly, send me an email, womenwhocnc.com. I will look it up and I will get those purchased and I will figure it out. Okay. But I'm going to give you the very honest answer. I do not know. So, but I will try and figure it out. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Andy. Hi, Andy. Are you able to match colors with Pantone color codes? So if you're looking for something specific, you can go to any paint store and have them color match exactly what you want. You know, it's really hit or miss, and it really depends on how much. I'm assuming you're talking about epoxy. It really depends on the volume of epoxy that you're working with. That's just a very straightforward answer that I can give you. So color matching is a possibility. It's just sometimes there's a little bit of math. Sometimes there's the volume factor. There's just a lot of things that can go into color matching. So, you know, take your time, do some testing. All right. Let's see. Chris Gallagher. Hey, Chris. Long time no see, friend. He says maybe a video on do's and don'ts of color mixing. Absolutely. I will write that down. Do's and don'ts. Got it. I'm making my list over here. My yellow sheet of paper is quickly filling up. All right. Let's see. Richard Whiteland. Hi. Can I import 3D projects? A customer requested for me to do a 3D project and has supplied me with a drawing. Is there anyone available to program the 3D and supply me with the program? Okay, so Ellen, I'm going to let you take this one.
Me not yet, but there's quite a few people. Bull Shanigan, Mike must. I can't pronounce some of these names, so I'm going to slaughter them. Talk to Mark Lindsay. He can hook, right? Bull Shanigan. I know he's a master at 3D. If you want to learn that, he's the guy to go to also.
Yeah, he runs a Facebook. He runs a Facebook group called The Make. The Make is Bull Shanigan runs that, and if you request to join it, you'll have to be approved because it is a private group. But then you can basically make a post in there and ask if someone can take that drawing that you were provided with and turn it into a 3D model. You will have to pay for the model. Obviously, that's kind of, that's just a given, but you can always put that cost back on your customer. And then here's the thing, Rich, the biggest part of this is you really want to make sure that you have the necessary program to be able to view the project. So you're going to need Aspire to make sure that you can view these, depending on the type of 3D, if you're wanting to make any types of tweaks to it, things like that. You might be able to get away with using VCarve Pro if you're wanting to make any type of I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for, Ellen? Help me out.
I don't know. He said he can import 3D projects, so I'm assuming he doesn't have Aspire. So if he has a 3D model that's already created for him with all the little lovely fixins for him, he can download it and he can adjust the depth, the height. He can make all that centered, and he can do all that in Pro.
Yes.
But he cannot create 3D.
Yeah, you can't really make any like adjustments to the 3D model. So if there's something that you didn't like or wanted to tweak, you would have to send it back to the designer and have them do it. So the other thing that I will tell you to be very cautious of that I have learned the hard way in working with 3D designers is to make sure that they have the appropriate software to do the job. Because there are a lot of designers out there that will just, they designed it in some like weird software that's like, 15 years old. And then they send it to you and you're like, this isn't like the format that I need this. I need this to be in this type of format. And they're like, oh, well, I only use this. So, and then you've paid them and now you have this file that you can't use. So make sure to ask the questions up front. What type of software are you designing in this? Can you provide me with this type of format? And also be sure to ask if they will allow you to have any changes. Because sometimes, like I had here recently, it was like a police badge that I had to have done. And the center of it was such fine detail. But when I sent it, my designer, luckily that I work with, is fantastic. But I had to go back to him 2 or 3 different times and say, hey, this is missing from the photo. We need to add this, because he had kind of missed that small detail in the grand scheme of the 90 bajillion other things that he like totally nailed. So just be wary, do your due diligence. Most of the designers out there are fantastic, but there is that one that's, somebody's going to catch. So do your due diligence. That's just what I want to say about that.
I was going to also add, we've used Lainey Shaughnessy as well.
Oh,
and
yep.
for that
Oh,
great
Mike
seal file.
Masalik.
Yep.
Right.
A lot of good ones out there.
Mhm.
All right. Let's see.
I love Lainey.
Got Vortex with another question. What is a good teacher for photo V-carve? Going to try my hand at it for Christmas gifts.
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really tried it too much. I would maybe ask in a couple of the groups. I would ask, I can't remember what type of CNC you have. I don't know. I think it might have been a long mill. You might ask in some of the CNC groups and see what you can come up with. I'm not sure if you are a part of Kyle's course too, but I know there's an incredible community there. And I know Kyle has done several photo V-carve tutorials and lessons and things like that. So that would be another great opportunity for you to check out Kyle's course as well. So the community there is just gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very
another
helpful.
thing for Mark to work on.
You get your list going, I get my list going.
Try that. He said he hasn't tried it yet, but it's a good thing to work on.
Let's see.
Absolutely.
He has a Shipoko 5 Pro is what he's working with.
Okay. So I would check your Shipoko groups. See what they've got going on in there. You know, or if anybody here in the community that's watching tonight, you know.
Yep. Looks
Right.
like Greg has done several photo
Make
V-carves.
sure you have a good photo. That's what I've learned with. I haven't actually carved anything yet. However, tinkering around with the photo carve, make sure you have a nice photo, like not shady. I found it easier if it was a nice background with not contrasting colors. Good definition.
Yeah.
Tinker around with it too. There's that little button that you hit right on V-carve, and it gives you a couple options. Play around with it.
Let's see. It looks like, and also there, if you look at Cutting It Close's John Wayne portrait, that looks like a great place to start, says Robert. Okay. Few suggestions there.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like next.
Yes, he does I think he does Cutting It Close. He does it with, I think it's the photo V-carve. It's not the actual, what's the new one on 12? My brain is like dead tonight.
Sketch carve?
Not sketch carve, but photo carve. That's the one that he uses on the Cutting It Close.
Oh,
but that is a
Ryan.
really incredible photo that he did too. Oh man,
yes.
It's awesome.
I'll have to look that
Did
one
you
up.
see his nice sander that he could run it through? Mm-hmm.
Speaking of sanders, I just got a new Delta drum sander.
Ooh.
Oh.
Found it on the little Chelsea Facebook Marketplace. Just saying.
I love tools.
Oh, listen. This guy, I got to tell you, I'm not sure if he's on here tonight, but I have to tell you. So crazy story. So this guy, I find him on Facebook Marketplace. I start chatting with him. He's a really nice guy. He lives about 40 minutes from my house. My husband and I go pick up this drum sander. We're chatting it up on Facebook Messenger. Guess who he knows? I'm not saying his name. You know who I'm talking about. Your boss.
Come on.
He used to work with your boss before he started the CNC business.
Over at
Shut the front door. I know. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you knew, I'm going to say it, you knew Garrett back in the day before he broke into the CNC business. He's like, yeah, I used to work with him for like, I don't know how long he said, X amount of years. And I was like,
heck yeah.
And so we were just like chatting it up about all the things. He had a Onefinity woodworker. He was showing me his whole shop and showing me all this cool stuff that he was building. I was like, I loved him. I love my CNC people. Like we just are everywhere.
Did you have to travel far to get it?
What's that?
Did you have to travel far to get it?
About 40 minutes.
Okay, not too bad. So he's still in between.
Yeah. Yeah. But he was like, yeah, I knew Garrett back in the day. I was like, I need to know all the things.
Right? Tea
Oh my
time.
God.
Everything.
Yeah. So that was just, I thought it was kind of funny that, that was kind of wild. All right.
Speaking of knowing all the things, Liberty.
Okay.
What project video are you working next?
I'm currently working on a cribbage board. I have quickly learned about the types of wood and what are not better for things, but we're going with it anyway. I've got a piece of pine, and I'm trying to make a little housewarming gift for Garrett's new place.
But don't tell him that.
Oops. Oops.
All right.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Who do we have next? So we have Shane Woodrum. To prevent color bleed, would you recommend CA glue, clear epoxy, lacquer before pouring colored epoxy? All right. So Shane, this is a very simple question or answer for you. Your best friend with this is going to be sanding sealer. I'll see if I can find some down here in my cabinet, my favorite cabinet. Let me see where it went. It ran away. It's probably hiding in my shop somewhere. But this is another good product that you can use. You can either use shellac, which this is, I feel like, the more expensive option. But sanding sealer is literally probably going to be your best option. If you go to my Women Who CNC YouTube channel, there is a video that I did with an American flag. It's I can't remember what type of wood it was, but it was a really, really light wood. And I did a solid black inlay of epoxy. And that was a very tricky experience because I actually think I did part 1 of a video of what not to do. And then I did a part 2 video of what to do, because I tried exactly what you're talking about. I tried to do like a clear, a really thin, like just brushed on layer of the epoxy. And then what wound up happening was the black epoxy wound up not getting into the crevices and everything to make everything look really like, what's the word I'm
Clean.
looking? Yeah, like it just like the stripes on the flag, because that clear epoxy had gotten settled into the wood. And so when I poured the black in, it almost created like a dish, like rounded edges. And so the lines were just not what I wanted them to be. Yeah. So I went back to my tried and true, which I knew I needed to do it, but I was having a bonehead moment. And I said, I'm not going to do the sanding sealer. I'm going to try something different because I think I can outsmart the good old system that actually works, which happened to be a very bad idea. Went back to what the sanding sealer, which is what works fabulous every single time. It keeps anything from bleeding. Listen, I use sanding sealer when I use Oramask. Get that stuff out, brush it over your stencil before you carve. Put that stuff on the inside. It creates a bond between the masking and the carve. It creates a bond between the wood and the epoxy. The stuff is fabulous. I recommend it for every project.
Yeah, another person, Robert, also just asked if you would use it for normal paint as well. So I guess that answers that question. Everything.
Yep. It's kind of like what's that? It goes well with every project. I really do like it when you're working with Oramask. You can even apply it to the wood before you put the masking on, a very, very thin layer. And then you can give it a little bit of a sand, like a really light sand with some 220, clean that off, put your Oramask on, and then carve. It'll carve beautifully every time. And then if you want to paint it where you carved it, put another thin layer in that carved area, paint it, peel that stencil off. It'll be beautiful. So And that's how I do a lot of my, like, so if I have to paint the sign first and then put the ore mask on it and then carve it and paint it another color, that's kind of almost the exact same process. So
Ooh,
let's
just say
see.
Mark said about 99% of the epoxies folks use in woodworking are urethane based. So if your sealer is compatible with urethane, you're golden. So,
Yep.
good tips.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
Right.
Hi, Mark. It's nice to see you, by the way. I hope you had a nice evening. Thank you for coming on board.
Yeah. Everybody was freaking out whenever he popped on. They said we were saying terrible things about him.
Oh,
I
most
might have
horrible.
said a few bad things.
Oh,
No.
whatever.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Juliann, you want to take it?
Sure. From Jeff Bell, what's the method of matching specific colors, i.e. a corporate logo, where color is key to the logo?
Do you want to, does anyone else want to tackle this, or do you want me to keep yapping?
Not touching it.
And unless you'd probably have a better answer. My answer would be play with it. My answer would be it depend upon what kind of color you're trying to match. That would change what kind of methods you might use. But that's just my general guess. So you're the one with the actual experience here.
Well, instead of guessing, ask them outright. Do you know the colors that you use for your logo? If you did your own logo, you are going to know kind of what little rainbow color that they give you.
Yes.
True.
So I have, right now, I have a logo. Let me see if I can pull it up. And it's kind of wild that this question comes up, because I have a logo for it's limestone Labrador, or limestone river Labradors, and I'm doing their logo. And I was talking with I'm looking for the photo. I can't find it. I was looking for the color codes and things like that on it. And I was talking with my client, and I said, so when I see this green in this photo that you sent me, I see like a grass green with a hint of like some forest. And she goes, oh, that's not the color I wanted at all. And I'm like, okay, so what color did you envision? And she said, it's more of like a deep sage green. And I'm thinking, well, that's not at all what I was thinking. So for corporate logos, one, be very careful if you're actually doing the logo because the company requested it for you. That's a different subject. But if you're doing corporate logos, be careful of trademark infringement, things like that. Number one.
Good point.
Number two, let's say if you're doing it for like personal reasons. So let's just use like the Buffalo Bills, because my son is obsessed with that team and he wants a big thing for his room, and I'm going to do it out of epoxy. So you can look up the color codes for certain logos and things like that on the internet. They actually have like their very specific colors listed. So for like the American flag, like those are listed. It may take you a minute to find the color codes, but it is a possibility to do. So, or you can go back to your client and say, if you want these very specific colors, I need to know what, like, because somebody designed the logo, somebody put that color in there that they like and they're familiar with. So that's going to be your best bet. That's just my personal advice. If someone else has better advice, I would be totally open to learning more about other options and other things. So that's
it's reminiscent of our actual brand book, because we have our logo and IDC Woodcraft trademarked. So there's like 3 different codes we could possibly use for whatever colors are in our logo and on all of our packaging. So it's pretty locked down. So
yeah,
you really have to check.
Yeah. And so like like for the IU flag that I did for my brother-in-law. I think I have some photos posted on my Instagram.
Logo.
But like, yeah, I went to Sherwin-Williams and I was like, hey, what are the IU? Like, I know it's crimson and cream, but can you make a true crimson color? Because I went to like, I don't know, Lowe's or something. And they were like, they gave me some color and I'm like, yeah, that's not crimson. So I went to Sherwin-Williams, and then same thing for the Purdue. I'm like, I need this specific gold. And they were like, yes. So they called the Lafayette store and they were like, hey, do you have this Sherwin-Williams gold color? So sometimes it's not as easy as you think, but going back to your client for corporate things, that's what I would do, because they're going to be the only ones that are going to have that color code for you.
Right.
Very true.
So, yeah. All right.
Alrighty.
We are at an hour and a half. Can you guys believe that?
Yeah.
We are
Rocking it out.
need a drink.
You know what?
I feel like I'm
Please
yapping too much. I feel like you guys didn't just get on here to hear me talk. I want to hear you guys talk.
I'm so sorry. I try to be helpful where I can.
Right. These are epoxy questions. I haven't
Yep.
played with epoxy.
I know. All right. Throw some CNC questions in here,
This-
guys.
I was going to say, this one's kind of a multiple one. Nice to see all of you together. Regarding finishing a project that has both wood and epoxy, what type of process in applying a final finishing would work best? So if you have mixed material, what are we doing? Okay,
so my go-to is like for wood and epoxy, I like the Rubio's Monaco. Gives a really beautiful finish for both. What I personally like to do when I have like mixed medias like that is I will go through and I will buff and polish my epoxy. And then I will hit it like the Rubio's on the actual wood, things like that. That's just something that I do. I actually have a project I just did. Let me grab it really quick. And it has this exact example. These would not be my color choices if I had my ruthers, but this is not about me. This is for the client. So this has like an English walnut spalting, and then this has like the purple epoxy with like this. This I don't think I've actually hit this with the Rubio's yet, but this was polished and all kinds of done. And then if I wanted to take the Rubio's over the top of this, I could easily do that, and that would be really pretty. So look at this wood. Isn't this gorgeous? I almost didn't want to cut it.
Lines.
It needs to be something else. It's so beautiful. But that's what I like. I know there's lots of people that have lots of opinions on that. So if you've got it, hit it up in the chat. All right.
Looks like Carrie's may be a repeat of what we've talked about earlier, but what method are you using to get rid of bubbles in the epoxy? How long to watch for the bubbles? So yeah, we've got that heat gun method. We've got the torch method. Now, when you spritz it with a 90% alcohol, is that like a misty spray bottle, or is it like how are we spraying it? Okay.
So I just, like I said, just like a dollar store water bottle, put it on like the widest setting to get like just a really soft spritz. We're not looking to, hit it with the, a direct stream, if you will. You're just basically looking to mist it. And then obviously don't touch it, because that alcohol will evaporate right off of the project. It's basically just going in, it's hitting those bubbles, and then it's popping it up. Now, if you come back in an hour or 30 minutes and you're like, oh, there's more micro bubbles, missed it again. You just don't want to sit there and like saturate the entire thing.
You don't want a coat of alcohol on top of your coat of epoxy.
Yes, no. Whatever you do, don't take any type of heat to it after you do that. Okay, just don't do that.
No fun.
The other biggest thing, the most painful part of the process is after you mix your epoxy, letting it rest. That's really your biggest biggest thing, because that's going to let the bubbles all rise to the top. Then you can take your heat gun, kind of vanquish the bubbles, and then you're good to go from there.
Good deal.
So,
all right.
We
got Dion next. Do any of you have any recommendations for displaying and selling CNC products at a craft fair?
Oh,
I do.
Ellen, you've recently you did some marketing stuff. All right, hit it up, girls. I'm just gonna chill.
I tried to make sure that my tables didn't look like my craft table at home. Right? I tried to make it to where it had some space so it wasn't all cluttered and crammed up onto it. It's great to have a lot of stuff, but do you really need 100 things? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I don't know, but that's too many. What kind of craft fair is it? What are you bringing? Is it compatible? I'm hoping so. Not cluttered, clearly visible, so people don't have to like move stuff around to look at other things. I like having, if I would have my tags right on them, I don't want to have to, oh, well, how much is this? It makes for a conversation, but then it's also like, if they don't see a price, are they going to look? So maybe I'm wrong.
Right. So I would agree with you there. I was actually going to bring that up. I was kind of pre-reading this question, and I know a lot of people are on the side of, oh, it starts a conversation. But me and many other, especially when you're talking about a craft fair, you're going to want to have prices, because more times than not, they're going to choose to not continue to look if there's not prices. Clear, concise prices.
Yes.
Yep.
Don't overload. But also, if you don't have any like epoxy, if you just do like wood CNC, figure out ways to add color to your booth to kind of pop. So if you do cupcake stands, have one fake cupcake. It could be a ceramic cupcake, sitting on it, and a fake macaron on top or whatever. Just, it doesn't always have to be something of an example of how to use it, but it could be just to kind of break the eyesight from all the wood.
Also, the staging helps because it gets into that psychological mindset of, oh, what can I use this for? Or I could see that hanging in my living room or what have you.
Right.
So it kind of, you want to get in these people's heads.
Yes.
And when you're displaying this, you kind of want to know the dimensions of your site that you're going to be using.
Yep.
If you have a 12 by 12 or a 10 by 10, know what you're going into, what market. Some places only allow white canopy tops. Some places don't care, but some places require that you have your tents anchored securely for any incidences. And nowadays, make sure you have something to take more than just cash. They have the Venmo, they have the PayPal, they have
all the
if you're
things.
going to be going to this, don't accept, with everybody using plastic, don't just think, oh, it's just cash. You will lose sales.
You will. You will. Figure out a way to take some sort of electronic money. I know you can't have every single electronic money app out there. There's a lot of them. But try to have one popular app and or some way to accept cards, like a Square.
Yes, they're very accessible. I'm looking at that right now. Because right now, what is it? I have PayPal.
Heck, even at the
I'm like, I don't know how to use it, but I have it.
Well, and even PayPal's going out. A lot of I work with PayPal a lot, but a lot of people my age have never even heard of PayPal. They just know all the apps.
Right. Somebody's like, do you have Venmo? I'm like, oh, I heard of that, but no, I do not.
Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle.
Yeah.
Oh,
and the nice thing about a lot of those too is if you get on their like pages, and they're very user friendly, they're easy to set up. And the nice thing is sometimes they'll even send you like a starter kit. So it'll even have like, a nice little sign, and it'll have like a QR code. And you're probably thinking, well, how the hell do people pay me through a QR code? They literally open their camera on their phone, you scan it, you just through your camera, you just hold it right up to the QR code, and then it pops up with a little link, and then they click that link, and then it'll say like enter in your payment information, and then you enter it, and then you just hit pay, and it sends it off. And most people that are using some form of electronic payment already have that stuff set up. So especially
they're
mostly
going to be able
women
to scan and use their Apple Pay right away.
Yeah, especially women at like craft fairs, moms, things like that. We're not. I very ever seldomly have cash. I mean, heck, even now our concession stands at our small high school here in Fairland has pay with your 5 different ways, and the kids just walk up and they pay it with their phone, and they're like, boop, because parents don't always have cash, and so they realized that was going to decrease their sales, so they got with the times. Like, I can send my kid $20 in nothing flat. So that electronic money thing is a huge thing. But I do like where you guys are going. And I do love what Ellen said about the don't have so many different projects, because that's also known as buyer confusion. And if there's too much to look at, they will just walk away entirely. So try to have a really nice, clean booth display. I love the sentiments about the pops of color. That's fantastic.
Right. They have these amazing
visualizations. All of
and
those
have your name out there, your actual company name, or made by so and so, because a lot of people, if they just see a random white tent with stuff there, it doesn't really pull.
Right.
So
you can order these tablecloths that come right down and cover the legs of the table, and they're stretchy and they're clean and it looks nice, and
everything pops off of it.
I will tell you, and if you're selling local too, do locally made by your, woodworker, whatever. Staples.com is fantastic resource for entrepreneurs and new beginners. They have a lot of things that you can get for very reasonable prices, like a big banner. I think you can get made for like $20 to hang, and it's like a banner like my Onefinity banner back here, and they're great. So, having those staples, your payment, making sure you know exactly what you're selling and who you're selling to, your market, and then also make sure that they know who you are. Maybe get like a simple t-shirt made with your logo, or, I don't know, get a dang name tag, or say, hey, when people walk up, say, hey, I'm Kate. I'm a local woodworker. These are my crafts, and engage with people. Don't sit there like this.
Right.
In your chair, ignoring them, watching them walk by, be standing up. Hey, how you doing today?
Saying hello is that first customer service engagement, and that means, hey, I'm noticed.
Absolutely.
So you don't know.
Yeah, I'm all up in people's faces. I'm like, hey. I'm a nuts.
Yes, exactly.
Ellen, do you have a website or Facebook page?
Yes.
Look at that confidence in that.
Yes, I do. Hernial Media's Steve hooked me up. I haven't quite figured it out, but I do have a Facebook page, Schmidtville Creations. I know, hillbilly name, but I love it. And it's mine.
Right. I love
it. I was going to say, you'll have to share that with us, and we'll have to share it with everybody else. Get you going.
Right. Schmidtville Creations. And I don't know, he'll show me how to get to the link to get to this stuff. And so I'm pumped. I'm going to start selling some stuff, and along with jukebox parts.
I love it.
Right? When you're not making jukebox parts, you can make your own designs.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, from Eric Kessler. Is Facebook and Instagram a necessity for good groups? What are the options for non-social media people? That is a very good question.
I
Now,
couldn't manage anymore without my groups. I mean, I can. I mean, really, that's not true. Everybody can, ride the struggle bus. But why? If you have the opportunity to get on, you don't have to go to all the groups. You don't have to be involved with everything that's going on. Find your little group that you're looking at, stick with that one, and learn what you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
But
there's
without social media nowadays, no way.
Yeah.
You'd probably
There's
be
honestly not a
paying
way
to get
without
in it.
social media. Yeah.
You find the communities, then generally you're going to have that nice little wall if they want you to pay a subscription.
premium.
That way, they're sure you're serious about it.
You're paying for the privacy of not being on the social medias.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
So, Eric, here's my sentiments. Maybe a little bit more of a harsh truth for you, but it's the truth. There is a plethora of information out there. Great, extremely valuable, very resourceful people out there that are doing amazing things. So my question to you would be, why not? Why would you want to deny yourself all of that free, valuable information? People that have experienced, all of these different struggles and things like that, you're denying yourself that privilege of learning from them. So let's use like tonight's platform. I know Garrett isn't here. So, but you have me, you have Juliann, you have Liberty, you have Ellen. I mean, I've done tons of epoxy work. I mean, you're on this social media platform. So is Instagram necessary? No, but there's a lot of really cool shit you're missing out on. The Facebook groups are, I mean, even if you're not a big Facebook person, you don't have to get on there to, find, meet a million friends and reconnect with people you went to high school with. If that's not your gig, you don't have to do that. But at least engage in the groups and participate in that kind of stuff, because that information right there is so incredibly valuable. Like, it's literally worth gold. And I don't know if Eric, how long you've
that free resource help is huge.
Oh my gosh. Listen, Eric, I don't know how long, if you've been on this journey for a while. I feel like you've been around for a while, but maybe not as long as when I first started with Garrett. But literally, I am self-taught from the school of YouTube, from epoxy and CNC. I think maybe 6 months in after my machine arrived, I had a one-on-one with Garrett. This was way back in the day, when he still did those. And we just started talking and yakking it up. And I hit him up with every single question I had. And here you can join those groups and you can ask every single stinking question you have, and you don't have to pay anybody. It's fantastic. So Don't deny yourself that privilege. Just do it. Learn, soak it in like a sponge, because you really can't go far if it all depends on what you want to do with that information and knowledge, brother.
Unfortunately, in today's world, I think social media is a necessary evil. Me being someone who doesn't necessarily care for very much social media engagement, it gets kind of hard because I have to use it for work. I have to engage with other groups for CNC stuff. But yet again, you meet amazing people and you have that networking capability. And like you said, it's completely free. So
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you're not paying a thing. You don't have to comment back on whoever, is actually, I don't know. It's kind of getting out of your comfort zone with it. So
yeah, you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, if you will.
Yes.
So,
Jack, 6 Facebook accounts. Good grief. Jack, you need a bigger machine, Jack.
Oh boy.
I feel like he's probably the busiest person on earth.
Definitely.
Oh, my word. All right. Who do we have next?
Let's see. We've got Coop again. Let's see.
IDC.
Oh, we're saying IDC again. IDC Gals.
Oh, good.
I went to the website and surfed it all. What I couldn't find was the listings for discount codes. Is it an open area or private secure area? Well, that
question.
actually requires an email to us. So if you email us at garrett@idcwoodcraft.com, we will get you taken care of. That goes for if you're buying a long mill, an alt mill, let's see, PWN spindles, air weights, vacuum tables. If you need a military discount, if you need an educational discount, we offer those too. You never know what you're going to discover until you email. But yeah, I mean, I can't rightly give them out on this live right now.
Not technically. Garrett's not.
So.
Oh, he is here. Sorry. Oh, Trina. Oh.
So if you
get on the
shoot us an
insiders list
email.
because you get to get in all the goodies before they actually,
Yep.
get in on it. It's a little
Hear about new releases. We actually have 3 different bits in now that are currently being labeled that we will be able to release very soon. So pretty excited about that. Everything's coming together with those.
Yeah.
It's gonna be exciting.
Ooh.
So
We have at
Speaking
least
of
a few
things,
hundred of each one sitting waiting for their labels.
they keep
Oh,
staring at me
boy.
on my desk.
ugh.
I don't know.
I-
Maybe Garrett could
so-
come up with a broke discount. I'm broke. I'm broke. I'm going to
Oh.
Texas.
Oh no.
Lord have mercy.
Oh,
Listen, I
God.
was doing a project earlier this week, and I did not know that you guys had a 1/16 inch O flute bit. If I had
Really?
known that in the very
Really?
beginning, I would have made my life a whole lot easier. But instead, I decided to ride the struggle bus. So there's that. So just a word to all those. If you're not sure if he has the bit, do yourself a favor and go check first, or email the ladies,
What?
because I just assumed that they wouldn't have that, which was stupid of me. You know what they say about assuming. So here we are. Rode the struggle bus for no dang reason. So anyway,
That stinks.
I know.
We do it to ourselves. I can't judge.
Well, you work there.
Yeah. I mean, it's never a dull day.
Yeah.
All right, got Teresa.
Muscle chuck question.
She has
Have
one.
one. Do I have to special program it into my Woodworkers Pro to get it to function properly? Nope. You should operate it as a normal collet. You chuck it up in there, get it all screwed in, attached, all that good stuff. But it should operate as a normal collet. Do your Z-zeroing as you normally would.
Just make sure not to over tighten it.
Yeah,
Right.
they're
So
not
that's
over tightened.
a common problem.
What kind of collets do you think they need, though? Is it a standard 1/4 inch, or can you reduce it to an 1/8 inch end mill?
So it is a standard 1/4 inch, but you can get a reducer collet to go inside. I like the precision one because it's really tiny, but also has a good base on it. But yeah, so you can convert it down to a 1/8.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
easy peasy.
So, yeah. Easy peasy, just slap it on.
All right.
I like that.
Got Chris Galler again. Can you epoxy a carved surface? Crazy. Thought I just had engraved pin the epoxy fillet.
Then epoxy fillet.
Can you
Maybe.
Can you epoxy a curved surface?
Okay.
Oh, okay. A curved.
So-
Curved surface. Crazy thought I just had. Engraved pens, the epoxy fillet.
Okay, so like engraving on a wood pen and then epoxy filling. I mean, I would say yes. A lot of people make tumblers and things like that with epoxy. I'm sure depending upon if you're just filling the top of it or covering everywhere, it would be different. You have to have like those turny thingies.
Yes. Right. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. One is you have to be really careful because if you're filling the like the pin, like, you know, like the top part of it, the decorative part of it, one, you're working with depth again, and a lot of epoxies only have a 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, like at most, like tabletop is a 1/4 inch pour at the most. So if you pour too much at one time with like a tabletop epoxy, what you're going to do is you're going to have that exothermic reaction that's going to overheat. So that's going to be too much. You could use a deep pour epoxy and let it stand. That's an option. And then if you're looking at putting it on some type of a lathe and then, you know, carving it out that way, you absolutely could. The other thing too is I know that they make a lot of molds for pins, specifically for pins that you can work with epoxy. So that's definitely an option. I don't know if you'd want to, like, I don't know what type of material like 3D printers have. I don't know if that, because I know a lot of that's plastic, and with the exothermic reaction, if that would really be a good option. I would really look for more something like with a silicone mold that you could pour the epoxy into and get that type of thing done. I've also seen people use tabletop epoxy if you don't want to make the investment of doing deep pour. You can. I've seen people do it. I've never done it, so this is just purely watching people do it. Is you can actually put it in the refrigerator, and that keeps that reaction cooler, and so then that way you don't have the heat and the cracking and all that kind of stuff. So you might look at doing that, but I would really look, your best bet is going to be for pin molds and going that route. So I think Woodcraft has some really good options for that if you want to look into those. So
cool.
But yes, awesome. It definitely can be done.
Right. All the curved flags, you know, the wavy flags and the wavy projects. So yes, it can be done.
You know, like I said, like art resin, it depends on the different type of resin that you want to work with. There's lots and lots of different things that you can do. So just depends on how much of a creative you want to be that day.
Right.
Yeah. So,
right. And it looks like we're hitting our last one right on time.
Yep. Big thank you to Robert donating $20. Let's see. Usually I have to stalk her on Ladies Night. Thanks for just letting me come along. I salute you all for what you do for all of us, even the Lady of the Night. Okay. I think earlier it was mentioned you're never going to live that one down.
Oh my word. I can't believe I said that. I don't even know what I was thinking. Listen, y'all, it's my first night back. I'm glad it wasn't with Garrett, because he'd probably been like, what is she on?
You said Garrett.
Oh, dang it. See?
I've got a lot of drinks to catch up on, you guys. I've been taking notes, starring questions, reading questions, all sorts of stuff. What is this? All right.
My word.
Oh, my word.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun.
Oh, yes.
Right? Oh, my word.
Okay.
I know
I don't get to do this often. Somebody asked me what I make on jukeboxes. And you know what? I was ready for that. I know
I was going to kind of hope we could slip that in.
We only have a few more minutes, but hold on to your hats, people.
I saw the comment earlier, and I was going to see if we could be like, since we have a few minutes, Ellen, would you mind?
Right? I always love seeing what she's doing. It's crazy.
Right.
I was stalking the company that I think she works with too.
Ooh.
Right.
I was stalking the website.
Victory Glass. Yeah. So this was the biggest project so far. Double-sided.
Let's see. Let's get this full screen here.
right? This is what I get. This is the original part. I don't have like the part that I already made, but this is what they give me. They say, make this part.
Wow.
I say, okay. And it took quite some time, but the parts were amazing. They give me stuff like this. This is the part that they give me. And I have to make this.
All right.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Wow, that's the easy one. How do you duplicate this? This is what they give me. This is their part.
How do you duplicate that? What's your process?
Okay,
Yeah.
I trace it out. I draw it out. I measure everything. I try to find a flat surface. Garrett did a video quite some time ago, and I can't remember what he was doing, but he was measuring for a certain part. That's where I learned that I could do this. You take your square and you make it. This is your starting point, just like it is on here. And you have to create your flat spot and measure every single point that you can measure.
Kind of like working from that as a starting point.
And then it's like, bam.
Then it's bam. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Wow.
Perfect match. Right. So these little things are fun too. Right. It's double-sided. So you have to know how to double side because there's 2 different ops. And then sometimes.
Did that one have different depths in it? The last one?
Oh, these all have different depths.
No. The last one that you just had, that one.
Yes.
Yeah, on the other side, it had a different width and depth.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, oh my word.
And then sometimes you need to make jigs because this was a part that I made for some kind of part for a jukebox. But you make little fixtures so when you're redoing this part, you can zero right off of this so you know that you're repeating the same part in the same spot every time while using your locating things.
Beautiful.
This right here, I was given this. See all these holes?
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that I had that on the grill?
Yes.
So they give me this, and I have to make that.
Oh.
There's a lot of math, and it's great. It makes your brain just explode. And then you get this part.
And then there's more.
And then there's more. Then you get this part that I've been working on for quite some time. It's an arc.
Oh my word.
Oh,
But it's not any kind of arc. It is not anything created by a computer. It was created by man. And it's months. I've
not
been
a
working
direct
on that one.
angle.
It's not a direct arc anywhere. They have, I have the fellas. I think I might have to actually use their help. They offered, and I said, no, I'll get it. No, I'll get it. I give myself into the end of October. If I don't have it, somebody's going to have to help me.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
Right? So I love it. I absolutely love it. There's so many more projects that I have here, but I'll get too excited.
Because
oh, happy.
Wow.
Yeah. So I take my little thing, I start from my 0, and I don't put it in the center because I need to be able to measure from my left-hand corner for some reason and go out so I can measure every point, every angle, every this, every that. And it's so fun. There's no files. There's, you know what I mean? It's not like you can go and say, oh yeah, I'm looking for a file for this. There is no digital files anywhere. Yeah, I could make that on my bandsaw. My Mick is like super, super helpful. He helps me measure everything. He helps me cut everything.
Jeez, oh Pete, that's crazy.
Mike Taylor asked, can you use a digital probe?
Can I use a digital probe? If I had one. I could use it. I have, for this arch, I have tried the tracer shaper thing. I have, yes. But if I had one of those 3D scanners, which a couple of my fellows said, yeah, they could probably help me out. They're like, wow, you can engineer all that. I'm like, and I just made that, and you had just made this. No, but yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah. So I make jukebox parts, everyone.
Nice.
Right.
That's a pretty sweet gig. I'm not gonna lie.
A pretty sweet gig, right? But then here we go. I'm gonna advertise for me. But here we go. When on my free time, I get to make cool stuff.
I love those. Those are so great.
I get to make like really cool stuff.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So
those are neat. I really like
so
those.
I have my jukebox work, and then for my hobby, I do fun projects, and then for my other hobby, I clean the garage because I made a mess.
That's a hobby.
I know.
It's a required.
Well, listen, I had to clean my shop tonight too. I was like, oh, snap! We gotta. Yeah.
Gotta work on the background.
I brushed my hair today, and I swept. That doesn't happen. That does not happen every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
I took down my raincoat and put up a fall decoration for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. That's all I did. I'm sorry. There's no more effort than that.
It's been a long day. Yes.
A clean shop is a sign of idle hands. Well, when you have ADHD, you're always an idle. What? A clean shop? Where's my tape measure? Where's my pencil? And it's in your hair. Where's my pencil? And
I think I remember one of the ladies on the Women Who CNC group saying that her and her husband were working out of the same shop, and she couldn't find anything, so he had to move to the garage, and now the only things she can't find are her pencil and her tape measure.
I have 3 calipers. I have 3 calipers because I get
How many calipers is too many?
I could use another one, but a really big one.
Yep.
I could really use a nicer, bigger calipers. Yeah. That would be sweet.
Well, to put
and
that
a
on
3D
the list.
Scanner, and I could really use a. And then Kate has a drum sander.
You got all the things, sister. You're gonna be coming through, so just bring all your stuff.
And I told you, I'm saying this. Okay, people, you heard me right from here. If Liberty does not end up with a piece of hardwood when I get back from Texas, y'all can shame me. I watched her doing projects on pine.
It's painful.
It's painful. So she has the choice. She's like, surprise her. But what do you think Liberty should get? I have Babinga, I have beech, I have Paduke, I have walnut, I have maple. Which one should I bring her? Enough for a nice little 12 by, that's a nice size. Approximate. Easy to carry because I'm taking it to Texas with me, so it can't be that big. Yeah. But you want to have at least 16 to 18 inches. If it's cherry, let's try to get her a nice piece. But what do you think? Maple and cherry, maple, Babinga. I know Babinga is so pretty. I have some back here. I'm like dying.
I want to hear Liberty have to say that during one of her videos. Like, what kind of wood is she using? Oh, it's Babinga.
Babinga. It's a red.
I would not be able to.
That is why we're doing it.
You guys don't see the background of my videos. A 2-second clip of me saying, we're going to use X-Fasten tape today takes me 27 tries of going, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, she'll walk out of the room and have to come back and do laps before she gets to do another take. It's quite entertaining.
Well, Robert said give Ellen some hardwood. No, send that. Garrett can pick up some lumber.
There we go.
Garrett can pick up some hardwood so you can start practicing. You're going to,
Yes.
when you start carving on some hardwood, and if you really like it the way it's an addiction.
It's a whole different animal. It's a whole
When you carve into this maple or cherry, my favorites, it's going to be like cutting butter, and it's not going to be stringy. And cherry and maple stain or don't paint it. Stain. It's so nice.
It sounds so beautiful.
Or I'll bring you some. I will. You know what? I'm gonna probably bring you some of this too. Right. This is birch.
Ooh.
Right.
Look, this is a walnut cookie, and this was just a V carving of a drawing. Isn't that pretty?
Right. See, you're gonna want this.
Gorgeous.
Oh, Liberty, you want that hardwood.
Isn't that pretty?
All right,
Mhm.
so I'm officially saying all donations go toward hardwood purchases for Liberty's projects.
Right.
There it is. I love it.
All right.
Right.
You'll be
Well,
addicted
you
like the
guys-
rest of us.
We're gonna, before they get rolling on anything else, we're gonna call it a night. We definitely
right.
appreciate you all for joining us on this ladies' night. So we appreciate all the donations, and another donation. Thank you, Eric Kessler.
Beautiful. Thank
Yes,
you.
hardwood. Hardwood. You want cherry?
Thank you, Eric. That's
You
very
want
generous.
maple?
Thank you. That's
Yes.
awesome. I love
And
that.
I
wanna
control the
say a
budget.
Big thank you for these. Oh, I guess.
Right.
Wait, how do I do this?
Go,
These two
wait,
ladies.
Opposite
There we
of
go.
whatever you
These
want.
two ladies.
Right. So you
for
want to
joining us tonight.
those wonderful women.
Oh,
Right. Nice chunks so you can make a nice pocketed project. So nice and thick.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Nice and thick.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Did y'all
we're gonna
not
get
see
her
my
stuff
stack
purchased.
text? Did you see the stack
Yes.
text?
Yes.
That
I
was
love stack text. I haven't played with it yet, but
it's so much
Paint
fun.
markers.
right.
Paint markers.
Okay, we're
are
past
your friend.
time.
Everyone,
All
it's been a
right.
wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining us yet again.
good night,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.